In this video, we're going to discuss using the grading creations tools. We're going to go ahead and create and edit a grading object. We're going to use create infill. We're also going to look at a couple of different grading criteria and use those to create some grading objects. And then we're going to look at the grading editor and panorama view. And we're going to talk about editing grading groups using grips. Before we get into actually working on this file, there are a couple of housekeeping items that I took care of prior to recording. I have trimmed out this feature line that we had here from the previous videos. I trimmed it just to the 190, a little bit outside the 190 contour, and I have allowed it to fall on the outer edges at the surface, and then created a new elevations point slightly inside of the edges at 190 so that we have a flat line across the contours. I also created a new feature line that we're going to go ahead and use for a detention basin. I created it down here at the bottom of the slope. It's closed, and I set it at an elevation of 172. And then I took both of these objects, I created a new site called grading and migrated them to that site. So once you have that available for you, then we can go ahead and move forward. One item of cleanup that we still need to do, which I wanted to talk about, is when you're creating a grading object and you're going to target a surface using that grading object, if you have a hole in the surface that your grading is going to target, then you're going to end up getting a strange artifact in your grading group. So whenever you're creating grading groups, you want to make sure you're not grading across holes in your surface. So I know that if we're going to grade this area, we're going to probably intersect either this building or this building. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go to my EG surface. I'm going to go to my definitions, and then I'm going to go to my boundaries. I'm going to go to my houses, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to choose delete. And it says the select definition item will be permanently removed from the surface. That's okay, because we can add them back later if we needed to have them. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then I'm going to rebuild my surface. And what you're going to see is our surface is now going through those buildings, and it's available for us now to target when we're going to create our grading groups. So now that we've created a new site, what we have to do is we need to jump into grading. And in the last video, we created a grading group. We're going to have to do that again, but we can do that inside of the grading creation tools as well. So we're going to go into the grading creation tools, and inside the grading creation tools, the first button that you have available to you is create a grading group. You can either set an existing grading group or you can create a new one. So I'm going to go and drop down, select my site grading. The reason why I want to work in a grading site is because I don't want to accidentally have my grading group interact with my development site that has all my parcels on it. I've had Civil 3D accidentally move some of the parcel lines when I have grading groups on the site that I also have my parcels on, and I want to avoid that. I like all my parcel locations, so I don't want to jeopardize those lines by creating grading groups at the same site. So we're going to go in our grading site. We're going to go ahead and select this button for a new grading group, and I'm going to go ahead and type in a name for that grading group as basin. I'm going to go ahead and choose to have automatic surface creation. I'm going to check to have the name be the same name as the grading group. And then I'm going to leave contours 1 and 5 design as the style. And I'm going to leave my tessellation spacing as 10 and 3 for the angle. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then Civil 3D is going to say, what do you want to do with your tin surface? What do you want to call it? How do you want to just describe it? And that we've already done that in the previous window. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So now that we've selected our group name, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now we have to select our targeted surface. So you can drop down. We only have one surface available to target, so we're going to go ahead and select EG and click OK. In here, you can choose what layer you want to set for your grading. I'm going to leave it as CTOPO grade and move on. This drop-down window is all of our grading criteria that we have available to us. We're going to first be working with the basin, so we're going to be down here. I'm going to work inwards and then outwards. So what I want to go ahead and do first is I want to do a grade to relative elevation. So we have a grade to distance where it's basically you set the offset that you want to have from the feature line that you're grading from, and it will grade to a certain distance from that line at a specified slope or grade. And you have grade to elevation. It will grade to a specified elevation at a specified slope. Then you can grade to relative elevation, and grading to relative elevation is a positive or a negative from that line. So in our example, we're going to go grade to relative elevation of -3. We're going to create a 3-foot depression for our detention basin. And then you can have grade to surface, where we take our targeted surface and grade to that targeted surface at a specified slope or gradient. So first item we're going to do is grade to relative elevation. If you needed to edit this, you could drop down and choose to edit or copy. We're going to go ahead and leave it as is, because we will be talking about grading criteria in the next video. And we're going to drop down into here. We have the options of creating grading, copying a created grading, creating a transition. And so a transition basically transitions between two different grading groups. And then we have create infill. To create an infill, you have to have a grading group already created, and you're going to basically fill in that hole with a flat surface, where you basically you find the outer edges, and then you just pick an inner point, and it level grades everything in between those outer edges. So we're going to go ahead and create grading, and it says to select feature. So we're going to go ahead and select our green line. It says select the grading side. We're going to go inside. So I clicked inside. It says apply to entire length. If you don't want to use the entire length, you can say no, and then it will ask you where you want your starting point to be and where you want your ending point to be along that line for that grading entity. I want to go the entire length, so I'm going to leave it as yes and hit enter. And then it says grade to relative elevation. I'm going to choose -3. And so I'm going to hit enter, and then it asks me, do you want to, or not do you want to, but it asks you to specify your gradient or your slope. It has auto-selected slope for me. And so in slope, it's a ratio slope, whereas gradient is a percent grade. So I'm going to go ahead and go with slope, and by hitting enter, and then I'm going to say I want to grade at a 3-to-1 slope. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And so the first object that gets placed in is our 3-to-1 slope towards the inside. So the next item to finish out the inside, I'm going to create an infill. And so what it says is select an area to infill. I'm going to go into the inside of my grading group and select. And so now what has happened is it has filled in the entire area inside of my grading group as a level surface. So then the next item I'm going to go to is I'm going to drop back down in here, and I'm going to grade to surface. And so I'm going to go ahead and drop down again and select grading. And I'm going to go back to my outer feature line and select that as my feature line. I'm going to select the outside of the feature line for which side to do the grading to. And then I'm going to apply it to the entire length. And I'm going to grade using a slope. I'm going to choose a 5-to-1 slope. So I'm first choosing cut slopes, and then I'm going to choose fill slopes. And so now I'm choosing a fill slope, and I'm going to also choose 5-to-1. And then I'm going to hit enter. And what Civil 3D does is it creates my exterior grading group. So as part of this, what I can now do is I can look at the information for my grading group. So I can choose grading editor. It says select a point in the grading. So I can select that point. It brings up the panorama window for the area that I selected. So I am selected for the relative elevation of -3. So it gives me the information for what was your grading method, what is your relative elevation. And you can see that this is locked, so I can't change it. Same thing with the projection. It's also locked. So I can now modify the items that are black. So I could change my relative elevation if I wanted to. I could also change the format for how my slope projection takes place. And then if there's a conflict, how do interior corner overlaps happen? So if this grading was really, really deep, and there was a conflict with this corner as it got deeper, how does it handle that? And it's use average slope, hold slope as a minimum, or hold slope as a maximum. And you can, if you have a conflict, you can scroll through those and see how the resolution works out for you and pick the one that you like the best. So I'm going to go ahead and check this off, and we're going to move on up to our pad elevation to grade that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is escape out. I'm going to select a new grading group. I'm going to drop down my group name. I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call it property 2-3. And I'm going to go ahead and leave my automatic surface creation and my used grading group name and my style and my tessellation. I'm going to hit OK. And I know that this auto populates for me, so I'm hitting OK again. Then I'm going to hit OK to go into the work that I want to take place. So now what I'm going to do is both sides of this line, I'm going to grade to surface, but I'm going to change the gradients at which I I grade to the surface for them. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to do create grading, and I got the warning of a target surface needs to be selected. I'm in a new grading group, so I have to select my surface over again. So I've now dropped down to EG and I'm clicking OK. I'm going to go ahead and select my grading creation again, and I'm going to select my feature line. I'm going to select my downslope side, and then I'm going to say I would like to apply it to the entire length. I'm going to set my cut slope as my format for slope. I'm going to go ahead and go with 2:1 for my cut slopes. I actually won't have any cut slopes for this because I'm going to be filling on the downslope side. And then I'm now going to specify my fill format. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it as slope again, and I'm going to change it to 4:1. And I'm going to hit enter. So now I've just created a downhill grade for my slope here from that feature line. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm also going to select the feature line again, but I'm going to select the pad side. And what I'm going to do from there is I'm going to apply it to the entire length. For this, you can't specify a 0:1 slope, so I have to change to gradient. So I'm going to go G for grade, and I'm going to choose a 0% slope. So I'm going to hit 0 and hit enter. And then for fill, I'm also going to choose grade, and I'm also going to choose 0. And so what ends up happening is almost like an infill, but because I don't have a feature line or a grading entity on this side, I can't do an infill. But just like I would see on an infill, I'm going to basically see a flat surface here that goes along this contour line and creates a flat pad area inside of this region. The last thing that we need to talk about, we've already talked about the panorama window, we need to talk about grip editing for grading groups. When we create grading groups, they are dynamic interactions between the feature lines. What we can do is if we modify a feature line or an object that we've built our grading group off of, the grading group will automatically update. There are no grip edits for the grading groups themselves or the grading objects. So if I go ahead and I select this diamond grip here, or the diamond icon for this grading slope here, what you'll see is there is a grip edit here, but if I move it, it doesn't modify the slopes or the group at all. It's kind of just a spot to grab this grading face on. If I wanted to perform an edit to the grading group, I have to find the backbone of that grading group and then modify it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to move down into our basin here. I'm going to find that feature line that I built it off of, which is right here. And at each of the vertices, you can see our grading group is building a line that projects downwards along from those vertices. If I move any of these vertices, the grading group is going to update itself. So let's say I take this grip and I move it way out here. The grading group automatically updates itself after that grip edit has been performed. The only thing that doesn't update is the auto-populated surface. So what I have to do if I wanted to update that is I would have to go to my basin and I would have to rebuild it. And so now it's updated the surface. But I don't want this, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Control-Z and Control-Z. And then I will actually have to rebuild my basin again. So I'm going to rebuild. And that's it for the discussion on grading creation. We're going to go ahead and talk about grading criteria in the next video.